Batman is playing Galaga.
Welcome to Retro Gamer with Tall Paul.
Thought we wouldn't notice, but we did.
Greetings, MS PAC-MAN fans. We are going to give this a go one more time. Well, many more times. Got to try to break this record. 60,410. And it has been a tough grind. Time to put the quarter in and go. As I've been making these videos, I've been in touch with people that I grew up with. And it reminds me of many stories of school and yesteryear. I went to a tiny little junior high called Pacheco Junior High in Redding, California. Junior highs were only 7th and 8th grade. Entering 7th grade after leaving 6th grade was like entering another world. Classes were different. You didn't stay in one classroom all day. You had to go to different classrooms. You had 4 or 5 different teachers. You didn't have recess anymore, except for lunch. Just felt like we took a big step into a grown-up world that I didn't really want to enter. Our junior high was tiny, and we didn't have 6th grade basketball when I was in 6th grade, so when 7th grade basketball tryouts came around, it was a big deal. And I had never played basketball, so I knew my chances of making a team of a sport that I had never played were slim. Because I was 5'7" in 7th grade, which is pretty tall for then, I lucked out and actually made the team. Made the team with 0 basketball skill. Being tall didn't guarantee me playing time, though, because there are other kids that size. And there was one kid in particular that was like a full-grown man in 7th grade. And his name was Mike McDollar. Mike had a full beard in 7th grade. And he had this caveman strength that was just not fair to the rest of us. I love those screen breaks. Mike was so big and strong. He would just push all of us around. He'd grab the ball and then just score the ball at will. And I remember I'd come home feeling black and blue after playing against him, and I thought that basketball was supposed to be a non-contact sport. Well, I couldn't have been more wrong. I took a beating in 7th grade. And not knowing how to play basketball, it was like trying to play catch-up. And Mike was new to our school that year, so he obviously had played basketball before. He could shoot from outside, he could rebound and score from inside. You just couldn't stop him. And he was the mainstay on our team. He was so strong that it was depressing, actually, to play against him. Our 7th grade year, he played most of the time on the court. I got in very little, very few minutes. The only time I ever got to play, really, is if Mike fouled out. And Mike was such an aggressive player, there were times he'd foul out. I remember Mike's dad would show up to these games, and he would sit courtside, and he looked just like an older version of Mike. And he would yell, "Get the ball, Mike! Mike, get the ball!" And Mike must have heard him, because that's exactly what he would do. He'd get on the court and grab the rebound and score the ball and I guess make his dad happy. I don't know. My dad sat there wondering if I'd ever play. There was one time where Mike fouled out in a tournament. It was a tournament at Grant School. And the score was like 17-18 or something like that. One of those junior high barn burners. The end of the game, I'm forced to go in. Not forced to. I wanted to go in, but it's nerve-wracking when you don't really know how to play. So I get into this game, and by some weird twist of fate, they actually passed me the ball, and I turned to the hoop and shot it. And I made it. It went in. Like, somehow the Lord blessed me by making that shot go in. And we tied up the game. I think it was to 20-20. And it went to overtime. This was as exciting as all could be. And my dad was actually at the game. He worked out of town during the week. He told me later he actually prayed that I would just play so he could see me play a little bit. Pause for screen break. Anyway, overtime starts, and I'm in the game, and I'm all uncoordinated and lanky, and somehow I get in the middle of the key, and the shot goes up in the air, and somehow I get fouled. I don't know how I got fouled, but here I am, heading to the free throw line with a tied game. I remember dribbling the ball at the line and shooting a little two-handed push shot, and the ball went in. It was pretty exciting. We ended up winning the game like 21-20. I remember how excited my dad was, how excited the teammates were that I actually did something positive. I remember my dad taking me to the donut corner in Reading and buying me 2 of the biggest apple fritters I had ever seen. And I sat there and talked to him, and we ate apple fritters, and he was just so excited about that game. And I remember thinking, basketball's okay. If I can do something positive and get 2 apple fritters each time, I think I'm going to keep giving this a shot. It doesn't matter how bad Mike McDollar beats me every day. If I get a shot like this, and this is the reward, I'm going to keep going. Well, to start 8th grade, Mike moved somewhere. I don't know. Part of me was kind of happy he was gone because I was going to get to play more on the team. And that's exactly what happened. We started the year, and I actually started some games. But the thing was, we weren't any good. We lost every game. And then, wouldn't you know it, we got news that Mike was moving back to town. I don't know where he moved or why he was moving back, but he was coming back. And hope abounded on our team. Mike returned right before the Alturas tournament, or I think it was the Modoc tournament, actually, was what it was called. Well, wouldn't you know it, we got our first win during that tournament because Mike was back. And even though my playing time went down, I was happy he was back so we could actually get into the win column. Basketball wasn't the only thing I struggled with Mike. Him being so strong, he was also in my PE class. And we had to compete against each other in PE in different things, such as wrestling. Now, wrestling in PE was a nightmare. You get out on the mat against someone else that you don't want to wrestle, and everybody else is sitting there watching. So you are just like a little gladiator or something like that, out there for everyone to snicker at or whatever it is. I remember asking my dad, "Dad, I got to wrestle Mike McDollar. What am I going to do? What can I do?" And he said, "Give up." And I thought that was kind of a harsh answer from my dad, but he was right. You couldn't move Mike unless he let you. Like if I went to grab his arm and try to pull it, he would literally just hand me his arm. And when we were practicing wrestling, he'd just go, "Oh, here's my arm." Because he did not move unless he agreed to it. So yeah, pretty much I had to wrestle him, and it did not go well. I think he rolled me up on my head, and I couldn't get pinned because I couldn't touch my shoulders to the actual mat because I was rolled up on the back of my head with my feet in the air. He had me rolled up so high. I think the PE teacher just called me pinned for my sake, so I wouldn't suffocate on the back of my head. Here's an embarrassing part of the story I've never told. At the end of the year when we all got yearbooks, I just was too embarrassed to go up and ask Mike to sign my yearbook. So I forged a signature of his on my yearbook, and I wrote a message to myself from Mike McDollar saying, "Paul, you're a good guy," and I signed his name. My little brother, the smart guy he was, actually read my yearbook and said, "Oh, you so wrote that yourself." I don't know how he knew. He knew Mike didn't write it, and he teased me for it, and I felt bad. But I still have that yearbook and that forged signature from Mike McDollar. Funny thing is, I still know Mike, and he might sign it even today if I asked him. But at that time in junior high, he was so high above me, I just didn't even feel like I could ask him to sign my yearbook. Oh, look at that. I have broken my record. It is on, people. That is the best screen break of all time. Let's see if I can add to this record here. Oh man. Every point a new record. There's a banana out there. If I can get the banana. Oh. 67,000. See if I can get to 70. Any of you have any high school or junior high heroes that you have stories about? Tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. Over 70,000. Look at that. Let's see if I can clear this board. I've never beaten this board. And I still haven't. A new high score. Yes. Critical error. Evidently I turned this game off too soon and it erased my high score. So the next time you'll see the 60,000 still on there. Darn it. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. And let me know how you liked the video in the comments. Thanks for watching.